Di here. Today I'm going to show you two new little journals I've made, one gold, one silver. We'll start with the gold one. These two were made from a cereal box and they're about the same size, about 4.5 by 6 with a 2-inch spine. This one has 5 signatures and a little hat elastic binding that's fed through a couple of grommets at the back onto a little flower metallic piece on the front. Very plain, just relying on the goldness to shine through here. I've used up lots of leftovers in this little one. There's a few journaling cards, but really the purpose of this book, like my previous one, is blank pages, tea-dyed pages. This is a little envelope. There's an envelope in each of the signatures with some journaling cards or photo spots inside them, and the rest of the pages are just tea-dyed. The centre of each of the signatures has gold or text hearts attached to the ends of the paper, a la Ephemeris Vintage Garden, just to finish them off, make them look cute. And the rest of it is just very plain. I've used up a couple of little pockets, both one in the front and one in the back, and there is one page of dictionary text paper at the beginning of each and end of each signature. That's basically it. It's very plain, as you can see, but again, it's a journaling journal, so I've left it very plain indeed, although this one is quite fat because of the tea dye. There's still plenty of room in there for more bits to be added. Here's the little silver one. This one's a bit different. This has just got plain paper, so it actually holds a lot more. Once again, it's got 5 signatures, and this one has just got a little hairband through a grommet at the back, a bit of a dangle there, and attaches to a post on the front. Again, there's a pocket in the front and the back, just with the same paper as the lining. And I've managed to use up some of my metallic tags in these, the ones with the lavender. A bit of silver embossing on purple paper there, that's a journaling card, and some other silver. There's an envelope with a silvery card inside for photos, and I found this little magnetic bookmark, which is quite handy when you're journaling, so you can mark the page you're actually up to. Just a quick whiffle through. All the pages are completely blank and white copy paper. There it is. Very simple little book. Oh, there's also a doily in each signature, just stitched in. And there it is. I wanted to show you how I did the covers of these with the tissue paper and the acrylic paint, and I'll go through that in a moment. This one's got lots of room for additional bits and pieces, but you can see the difference in the texture of the two. This is the silver cover. When I made this, I covered it with the Tim Holtz tissue paper, and I used the silver acrylic paint and some Reeves Gloss Gel Medium mixed together. With the silver one, I didn't coat any of the outside of the book with the paint. I just coated underneath the tissue and then just pushed it on with my hands. But it shines through quite nicely. It's quite glossy and quite nice. Now here's the blank one, the second one. This is the one I'm going to do with the gold, and it's just covered front and back with plain brown paper. When I put this together, I didn't use the Ranger Matte Medium. I used the Liquitex Heavy Gel, which you can see here. And I'm actually very pleased with the result. The first time I used it, I didn't like it, but it feels really nice, and it was a good sturdy outcome. I think I would still finish the outside with the Ranger product after I've completed the journal, but this one was certainly good for underneath. Here I am. I'm just about to mix up the Reeves gel with the gold acrylic paint. I've got a piece of tissue paper prepared, and I'll just mix those up in my little teacup there. With the silver one, I didn't paint it over the top. I just let that seep through. With this gold one, I'm going to put it underneath the tissue and over the top as well. So I've mixed up quite a lot. So I've got enough to go over the outside as well. Just finding the front and back there. And away we go, just giving that a good mix. It's only a very cheap acrylic, this gold, but it's and the silver, but it works pretty well. This was all a bit trial and error to see how it panned out. Putting on a good layer. Just the usual way of covering a journal, but I've never done it with paint before, so this was a bit of a playtime for me. But I was so pleased with the way the silver one worked, let's do the second one. And I've really got a bit of a fondness for these tiny journals at the moment. Need to get that a bit straighter than I had it. And you have to be quite careful with the tissue because it is quite frail, but as long as you're quite firm with it, it goes down quite nicely. Just putting a little bit extra on the corners there. You really want it to stick well. You want good cover. Going in and doing the back. The Reeves medium, gloss medium, adhered everything down beautifully. It was quite sufficient. I'll speed this up a little bit so you don't have to sit and watch me do the whole lot. There we go, there's the last corner. Getting those corners nice and straight is absolutely crucial for a nice outcome, and also the side edges, making sure that you've pulled that, whatever paper you're using to cover, pull it up nice and taut against the edge and have plenty of your adhesive there. With the other brown paper covered albums that I make, that you colour up with the distress ink, which still remains one of my favourite ways of dealing with a cover. You want as many wrinkles as you can to stay in it. You want a nice lot of texture to give you that lovely colour at the end. However, with this one, I wanted it fairly smooth. There's still quite a bit of texture, but I wanted it as smooth as possible. This took a couple of days really by the time I left it to dry, and then after it had dried I put the inside liner page on and then gave it a night under my Webster dictionary, both of them. Make sure they absolutely flat. This end bit was very tiny, but it was enough to cover the edge. Then I went through and made sure that I put a good coat on the outside and on the inside as well before leaving it to dry. I wanted it to cover a lot of the tissue paper detail, but not to occlude it completely. I wanted still to be able to see that detail of the tissue paper through, but not quite as clearly as you could with the silver paper. I've got some still photos at the end, so you can see details of the fastener. Just about there. Going through and painting on the inside, giving it all a good coat, particularly around the edges because you don't want any of that border to show. There we go. That's just about it. That's it all golded up and ready to leave to dry overnight. Here are the still photos. There's the gold showing the cover, the little clasp from the gold one. Here's the silver. with the cover detail and the little catch. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye now.